always enjoy rivalries where they have to share the stadium. That's such an awkward experience to me. I don't understand that in any sport.
Okay, Magic Johnson tweeted, the Lakers have a team issue and a basketball issue. Wow.
There's no more loyalty as such remaining in basketball, and everyone's so ring hungry.
More specifically, Wenger versus Alex, okay? No, but I don't want anyone in the comments give him respect and all that bullshit.
I don't care if you call him sir or not, man. That's his knighthood. But respect the guy. He did beat the fuck out of you guys. So
every single one of our players can speak English really well, and none of their dudes can speak Hindi. So we can say whatever the hell we wanted to them, and they can't respond to us.
Max is here to compete. Also not a very pleasant personality. So, yay.
Let's go.
hey everyone, welcome back to an all new episode of All About Sports, the podcast, a podcast that is all about sports for the fans, by the fans. And we try to bring in new content every week across all the major sports, basketball, cricket, tennis, football, motorsports, and even the UFC. But sometimes we also have some less common sports that we do try to cover and look into. Last week, we ended up speaking with Arjun Gupta. His Instagram handle is that C-face guy. And we spoke to him about fitness and diets and the love for sports that helped him pursue his dream of following fitness and actually making a career out of it. This week, we will be discussing our favorite rivalries across various sports. And joining me today are Rishabh Krishnan.
What up?
And Aniket Gui.
Hi, boys.
I'm Mazhar Gadiwala, and Shubham, our fourth host, won't be there for this episode, but we're sure to see him going forward as well. So let's get into this week's episode. I'm going to start with, let's say Krishnan's favorite sport, if I can say that. Ever since he's been in the US, there's been this complete affinity towards this sport, basketball. So, Krishnan, I'm going to go to you with this. Which is your favorite rivalry in basketball? I know it's probably going to be the NBA, so take it away.
Thanks so much, Maz. This is a simple one. I think you're going to like this one. It's the Clippers and the Lakers, man. It's such a good one. And I think, like you said, Maz, my affinity for basketball has sort of grown in recent years. And it's worked perfectly with kind of the growth of both teams in recent years, right? LA Lakers, after having that huge slump of a few years where they're trying to build after Kobe's legacy, kind of trying to rebuild their team, eventually deciding, screw the rebuild, let's just bring in superstars and restart this. And then the LA Clippers also, finding a way to actually establish themselves as a reasonably successful team. Now, there's still a step up they need to take. They finally reached the conference finals, at least last year. So I love that rivalry. One, because I always enjoy rivalries where they have to share the stadium. That's such an awkward experience to me. I don't understand that in any sport, how teams can share a stadium, but I really love it. And what I love about it is there's a sense of inequality that is so exciting that at one point, whenever the Clippers hopefully at some point make some kind of change and are able to overcome the LA Lakers, it'll be really exciting. So I think that's the one for me. Another big reason is, it's such a star-studded rivalry, right? You look at the current NBA, both in terms of players, of course, you're talking LeBron, Anthony Davis, now Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard. And the other side, you have people like Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, even lesser known big characters, right? You have a Serge Ibaka playing on that side. It's just a fun rivalry, and it's in LA. So the stars come out, bro. It's literally Jack Nicklaus versus Billy Crystal, Steve Ballmer dancing on the side like a jackass. It is just the most fun rivalry to me. What I'm hoping for, though, like a lot of people I think have hoped for a long time, is one time we get a good playoff series between those two. I think this is the season. Hopefully we finally get it. Even if it's not the finals of the conference, even the semis, if we can get a good LA Clippers, LA Lakers game, I would totally be, excited for it. And maybe finally the Clippers can overcome, Snoop Dogg's thing about how Snoop Dogg talks about the Clippers. Have you heard him talk about the Clippers? He calls them like the adopted son that your parents didn't tell you about and shows up and takes your clothes. It's the most demeaning description of the Clippers. So I love to see LeBron win, but I'd love for this one time the Clippers to overcome the Lakers. So that's mine, Muzz. That's mine.
Snoop Dogg is, well, I mean, he's going by the simple basis that when you look up at the rafters, you don't see anything of the Clippers there, and it's just filled with purple and gold. So I mean, I understand where he's coming from. Also, it's one of those which I'm going to bring it up now, but we'll talk about it later. Manchester United, Man City sort of case, but eventually City did has like outdone United in a lot of ways and been successful as well. I don't know if the Clippers will. They will at some point. They have to, right? At some point they have to. But when will it happen is another question. It's different that the Lakers have been shitting at the start of this new season. I'm not sure that Westbrook is still the right fit for the team. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're having a go at Westbrook again," but it's there to be seen, man. It's there to be seen now. At least after the first two games of the season that we've witnessed so far, AD and Dwight having problems as well.
I think that's a bigger issue. Can you all not murder each other from the inside? That is the bigger issue that the Lakers have.
Exactly right now.
Clippers.
I don't understand what's going on with this Lakers team. Honestly, they look so dysfunctional. I've never seen a Lakers team so dysfunctional. I'm talking about times when it was Kwame Brown playing at center and just Kobe basically, and then we had Sasha Vujacic and all these guys who could barely do anything on that court.
The most poignant statement has ever been made about this Lakers team. Okay, Magic Johnson tweeted, "The Lakers have a team issue and a basketball issue." Wow. Okay, like and what? Sir, please, you need to finish that statement. It seems like you passed out by saying something.
It's like he was writing his will and he had to add that one more zero at the end, and whoever was going
holding
to take
that
over
shit.
that.
Yeah. My God. But yes. But I also echo his sentiments. You can't say anything wrong about what he just said.
But I'm surprised, and I like the fact that you went with the Lakers and Clippers and not the cliched Lakers Celtics, because I think that has died down significantly over the years, given that it's been so long since Boston won a title, and even the Lakers for that matter, till they won last 2 seasons back, obviously, with the COVID hit bubble scenario. So I'm going to move on from basketball. Gui, I'm going to go to your favorite sport. I know it's not your favorite sport.
You didn't even ask me for an honorable mention. Come on.
Go for it.
It's not a team thing, all right. What I really like right now is that there's so much GOAT debate. Yeah, this one is better than this one. Is he top 5? Is he not top 5? Kyrie is not top 75.
Yeah,
who
man.
cares about
Kyrie
top
and Clay are not in the top 75 and people are raising issues.
Who has the patience to make a top 75? Please find these people and find them a job.
That is their job, bro. They're getting paid way more than combined.
This is coming from envy. All of us would dream of that job. If we were the people to select them, what a dream job, man.
I'd easily take 75 days. I need 1 day per person. Please, we cannot do this. Yeah. But yes, top 75 debates, top 5. This guy's not here. Clay is getting angry. Like, sir, please come back from your injury. You're a very good player. You don't need this validation. What is wrong with you? Like, because right now I feel it's such a ego-driven place to be in, right? Like, you need to be mentioned in post-match interviews. You need that kind of attention around you in terms of what is being spoken about you in social media, etc. So that is my favorite rivalry. Like, I mean, it's not nothing specific, but that's Steph. Is Steph a top 5, top 10? Is LeBron better than
Jordan.
XYZ names. I'm not going to say names. Okay, I don't want my opinions to come through. But anyway, that's what is really like. I don't think there's any significant rivalry in basketball right now. It's more an individual name hyping. Like who's the biggest ever?
And that makes sense because people are moving so much, right? People are moving so much. You could argue like LeBron versus KD is like a big rivalry, but not wherever they move, it's been a rivalry for some time now. Even OKC when he was in Miami, then when he moved to Golden State and LeBron was in Cleveland. Now with KD in Brooklyn and him in LA, it's like a continuing thing. The one quick point I want to make on these lists, man, everyone, and I'm not the first person to say this. Someone on Inside the NBA said this. Everyone gives all these other people who should be in the list. No one gives the name of someone who should come out of the list. If you're not going to add, how the hell can you say someone can come in if you don't like tell who the hell is going to come out of the list? Like someone has to come out to put anyone else into the like a 75% list. Anyway, they made it 76 people. On top of that, you want to add more people to it.
Who's the 76th?
It was some tie, dude. I don't know who the tie was. It was a tie, and so they had 76. Okay.
Ridiculous, man. I it doesn't make any sense. But Gui, I'm glad you brought this up because actually that's true, yeah. And like Krishnan, you highlighted the fact that there's no more loyalty as such remaining in basketball, and everyone's so ring hungry that it's hard to like have a rival in general. Because every time you think, okay, chal, these are my new rivals, suddenly someone else joins, and then it's done. Like on to the next one. So you're just so right. Now I'm going to come to you, Gui. I'm not going to say your favorite sport, but probably the sport you are most well versed with, football. Well, let's go into the big one, football. So let's try to avoid the obvious names. So let's go with your particular favorite rivalry. And yeah, obviously there might be a bias here, but go for it.
So this rivalry exists on the podcast. Okay, let's address the big issue. I don't care about that.
Let's go.
No, okay. Anyway, Malu's down. Now, Krishnan, we can do this.
I was going to say we can double team him, something like that. Okay, let's
Edit. Anyway, so my point being that the
Krishnan and his vulgar thoughts.
So United versus City wasn't a challenge until the last 10 years, right? Just wasn't.
It's still not a challenge, bro. It's just the other
no,
way.
It's just other way around. Yeah, but at least there are hopes of one team to revive the status. Similar scenario with the North London derby, right? There's been domination by one side. Now Tottenham over the last 6 odd-ish years, they've been doing nothing special, nothing special, but just better, just
keeping
better.
The pressure, just keeping the pressure.
Exactly. Yes, just marginally better. And so I'm going to focus on the rivalry which I grew up watching, which is Arsenal versus United. More specifically, Wenger versus Alex. Sir Alex. Okay, no, but I don't want anyone in the comments. Give him respect and all that bullshit. Mazhar will only tell me in 5 minutes. How dare you?
I mean, I don't care if you call him sir or not, man. That's his knighthood. But respect the guy. He did beat the fuck out of you guys. So
don't care.
I wish I could argue.
I wish there was an argument to make.
No, but Wenger brought in the dietary changes. It changed football altogether, guys. It's football's a different place because of Arsene Wenger.
Okay, not the dietary changes, but there are other arguments. Krishnan, please don't play the devil's advocate. Okay, don't.
Sorry.
He doesn't need. He's enough alone. He doesn't need Malu to back him up. He doesn't need you. Please stop all. Like
I literally just did my assignment on leadership, and you can imagine who was a major research model for me. So it's right in front of me, actually. There we go.
We don't have to imagine, man. We know. We know. So yeah, this is the rivalry which I grew up watching, and if anyone who personally knows me, they know that I am much more hostile towards Man United as opposed to any other English club. And it's just the way it was, right? You had Vieira versus Keane in the middle of the park. You had two prolific strikers on both teams. You had great centre back pairings on both teams. You had really good, well established, popular, like media popular wingers on both teams. It was a kind of like 11 versus 11 where you could pit, like you can have a comparison between your strikers, your goalkeepers, your defenders, your wingers, your CMs, and that was the flavor of football for me while
Sorry, I'm just going to cut you off there, Gui. We have to do this one episode. Arsenal's greatest 11 and United's greatest 11 combined. We should definitely do that.
that would be the last episode of this podcast because I don't know some is going to devolve into a fight. Just so sure of ourselves on this one, but yeah, that's what I grew up watching. That was probably the hard, like, from all the football I've watched, one of the hardest in terms of just sheer physicality of the game and pace. Like, if you ask me, it was faster then. That those teams were much faster and more brutal and just more rash. Like, tackles flying, red cards, every odd game, and that's what really fueled the desire. Like, again, to say that I hate Man United, sorry, that's not use the word hate. To say that I have a greater disdain towards Man United than Spurs, coming from an Arsenal fan, you need to know like how much of that rivalry I grew up watching. And I don't know, it could be the same for a lot of people who started watching in the early 2000s ish, and it's just too big for me to. It is my biggest in football. Like this. I do not watch United games. I do not. I just do not watch United games, barring that those two. Yeah, 2 games a season. That's about it. Arsenal versus United, United versus Arsenal. No other United
It's
game.
kind of,
United could play the Champions League final, and I will not watch it.
yeah, obviously. That's obvious. Why would you? You anyway won't watch the Champions League right now, so it doesn't matter. But
Well played.
Touche, man. But I want to put this to you because I want to ask you who yours is, man. Who is your like rivalry that gets you kind of hyped?
honestly, I just wanted to go back to what Gui said before I answer that question, Krishna. He mentioned Fergie Wenger, which I think is brilliant. I did not expect that to come out. I just expected Gui to say Arsenal United. I did expect that because I know his disdain for United, but I did not expect him to bring up Fergie versus Wenger because we all know that rivalry too. But one which he missed, and I'm kind of disappointed, was Kino versus Vieira. I really thought you would mention that specifically, but you didn't bring that out specifically.
I said
Not
it. Center
specific.
of
He
the
said-
park.
Yeah,
He said
yeah, but you
tackles
didn't use the
flying,
names.
red cards. It was insinuated.
No, and
Yeah,
I'm
but I
pretty
wanted
sure I
to hear
mentioned the
him say
names.
the names.
No, I said the names. I said the names. I'm very sure I said the names. They kind of drove those teams to compete.
Oh
that
yeah, for
hard.
sure, man. That's why just brilliant characters. Yeah, but coming to my favorite rivalry in football, funny enough, it's not United Liverpool, it's not United City, it's not United Arsenal, it's United Chelsea. I see. Okay, fine. They are the European champions right now and all of that jazz. They have a great owner in Roman Abramovich and the way their entire team functions. So that's my biggest rivalry. But if you're talking about a football context, it's got to be Liverpool. And it's not that I hate Liverpool. It's just an amazing rivalry, and it fuels that passion in you because they're very similar. We're talking about two clubs which have been born out of fans from the working class, same types of history. You see the titles they've won, the legacy of players, the coaches, what it means to be a fan of these clubs, the passion that the home fans have. Everything is so similar in a lot of ways. The only difference is I can understand the Manc accent. I can't understand the Scouse one. But yeah, but that's my take in terms of my biggest rivalry in football. Krishnan, football is a top game. So I can't leave you out as well. So what's your biggest rivalry? If it's United Arsenal, just mention that in one word and then pick on something else.
No, Maz, it's a good question because I would have picked the same thing as Gui completely because that's the one that, is the biggest in my mind. And I was thinking of other big rivalries, right? But the honest truth is I don't follow the other leagues outside the Premier League as much, right? So I was thinking of Bayern, Dortmund. I was thinking the El Clasico. But honestly, another one, Gui got me thinking on this route of managers. And that's what's got me thinking of Pep Guardiola versus Jose Mourinho. They have now followed each other. I mean, that rivalry, which was, the El Clasico rivalry when Pep Guardiola was managing Barcelona and then Mourinho was managing Real, was always heated. Mourinho poking the eye of, oh man, who was that assistant
Tito,
coach?
I think it was.
Tito,
Yeah,
It was Tito. It was Tito. Poking the eye of Tito. It's always been so heated. Then moving to Manchester City and Manchester United.
Pepe kill too.
But that's the thing, man. And then they follow each other to the Premier League for Manchester City and Manchester United. So I think they're two people who's it's like in Harry Potter, how Harry Potter and Lord Voldemort's fates are kind of intertwined. That's how I feel about these two guys, man. Their fates are sort of intertwined. I'm sure at some point they're gonna find each other together in the Italian Syria also at some point later on. I'm sure Pep will join Juve or something. But their fates are meant to collide. After starting and playing together at Barcelona, to then go on and coach against each other. I love that rivalry. It's already heated. You can't find two more different people also. Pep Guardiola is so awkward. He's so understated in press conferences. Jose Mourinho is the complete opposite, like the most outspoken, making the most ridiculous statements, considering himself the chosen one. So I think that's the rivalry that I enjoy. I've really enjoyed for whichever teams they sort of coach. And I'm really excited whenever they face each other because that storyline gets picked up again. So I love that storyline.
I'm going to move on to the next team sport. And this is obviously very close to our hearts, being Indians, cricket. So, Krishnan, we'll start with you with this one, and then Gui, you can chime in as well. Your favorite rivalry in cricket?
Guys, this one's easy for me. If you see my bio on the website, I mentioned this. In 2003, Australia and India played in the finals in South Africa. It was my first one that I remember. My first final I remember. I was excited. That excitement went in exactly 2 hours because fucking Ricky Ponting scored this blistering 169 and I fucking was so mad. They scored 365 or how much was it?
Yeah, and ridiculous. I don't know. I just remember Nehra getting battered.
Destroyed. And at that time, 365 was a lot. Now it's like because of the T20, lifestyle, it's more attainable. But that time, that was a huge amount. And I remember Virender Sehwag, when we batted, hit his first ball for 6. And I was like, this might be possible. Obviously, we ended up completely getting destroyed. But the rivalry that I just absolutely am so excited for and so passionate about will always be India versus Australia. Australia has been a team who through the 2000s, which is the kind of our growing up years of watching cricket, was such a dominant team and would crush India, in Australia. Every moment that we got where we could actually beat them. I remember that epic, that test series in India, Harbhajan getting the hat trick, us beating them after following on. There's so much passion associated with India, Australia, the sledging, the back and forth. There is so much heat and tension that somehow, even after 20 years, has not faded at all. Even today, when we go and play them in Australia or they come here, there is so much aggression. And the good thing is now, every single one of our players can speak English really well, and none of their dudes can speak Hindi. So we can say whatever the hell we wanted to them, and they can't respond to us. So I just love that rivalry, Maz. Anytime we play in Australia, even when they come here, it's always a fun time. And, very honestly, I think the teams are now evenly matched as well, which is really exciting. It's now becoming more of, where it's more dependent on where we play. And the squads, though, are very, very even. And India actually is, most would argue, a better team in most formats than Australia. So that's the one, man. It's definitely, for me, the one across sports, across teams, the one that I feel the most heated about. It's an easy choice for me, India, Australia.
Gui, what about you?
I completely agree with Krishna. This, again, the number of batterings we've taken, like to a point where it was kind of a waste of time to watch those games. I felt like the inevitable is going to take place, right? Until there was some glimmer of hope in the 2002, 3, 4, where we actually started competing. And from then on, of course, it's been a steady rise in Indian cricket, and just rise and rise and rise. There's no stopping. And Krishna mentioned it very well. Like even the last series that we played, which was in 2020,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I believe
late
so.
2020, early 21.
Start of 2021. Yeah. It
Yeah,
continued
yeah.
into the new year.
That
Yeah.
it just felt as heated. It felt as strong. Like I still remember uh, working from home. I just basically said, okay, I hope no one's watching this. I kept the laptop aside and I watched the last day, the entire day of Test cricket. And I don't, as much as I like Test cricket, you don't have that luxury of time, right? To watch an entire day of Test cricket. So, considering it started early, I still got like a few hours prior to work. And because that is how strongly I feel towards Test cricket and the India Australia rivalry both. We I remember they were going for win number 16, 17, 18. It was a famous comment at that point. We won 15 on the trot. 16, 17, 18 is not going to be too difficult, and they kind of crushed us in that 16. They won the 16, which is the first test in on Indian soil in the 2003 series. Yeah, 2003 border Gavaskar, if I'm not wrong. And everyone was just like appalled, like they are actually going to do it. Like 17, they claimed it before they came to India that they will do it, and we stopped them. So it was just like super memories. And of course, India Pakistan is a different ball game. Rivalry kind of deadish, considering we lost like once in so many ICC events, which is also now not really recent, right? The Champions Trophy was when
2017, I think.
17.
2017. Yeah.
2017. It was a final. It pinched hard, but don't care enough. I think, like, I just don't. I'm sorry. It's as big a thing it used to be in the past. I don't think it's
As soon as that happened, the BCCI made sure the tournament also goes out of focus. It's completely gone as a tournament also now after India lost in that game.
BCCI has its ways. Yeah, you can't help them.
Oh God. Yeah. I mean, India, Pakistan, GUI, like you rightly mentioned. I mean, they've only beaten us once in ICC competitions. And that was literally that Champions Trophy final, which was again just a shit show. We just didn't turn up on the day. Fakhar Zaman just took the game away on that day. And then I love how everyone was cursing Jadeja after that. Fucker got Hardik Pandya
Hardik
run
run
out
out.
and this and this. I was like, what? Calm down. We had no hopes of winning. Even no matter how well those two would have batted, there were no hopes. But still, everyone's like, bastard.
Because that run out was the only issue in that entire game. Sure.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. But that's how everyone overreacts with everything when it comes to Indian cricket in general. Jadeja has saved our ass so many times, no one remembers that. The number of times he's won us games and won us tournaments. He won us the previous Champions Trophy. How are you forgetting that, man? He literally won us the previous Champions Trophy.
He
It's
got
just a
knighted.
merciless
He
world.
got knighted by the people of India. All right, he didn't get knighted by the Queen. He got knighted by a population of 1.23 billion.
And at the end of the day, that 1.2 billion was only shitting on him for getting Hardik Pandya run out, who went and said, "Main karke aaya." So just say. Oh God. Okay. So now that we've covered the three major team sports that we always talk about, and I feel proud to say that we know the most about in a lot of ways. Let's move on to the other major sports that we also cover generally. So let's take Formula One. So Gui, this is your domain. You know this the best. So you just let us know which is your most memorable rivalry in F1.
I'll tell you what. It's Schumacher versus everyone. The number of people he competed with and just beat. All right. He beat a number of people. He's beaten Coulthard, he's beaten Hakkinen, he's beaten Kimi, he's beaten big names year after year, and his records told, I mean, still not beaten. There is hope that it does not get beaten. I know I'll have to root for Max. It's all right. It's all right. I can do it. Right. Yes. So that is, I mean, because he, again, you, I don't think we can say that Schumacher had a consistent rival over the years. Not that, because also you can move teams and stuff, which is why you never have a team rivalry. You don't have a specific driver rivalry for very long. But yes, over the last few years, very obvious Hamilton versus Max rivalry, which is really fun to watch, slightly over exaggerated by the influx of a very popular production house filming them every moment, misrepresenting certain things. But yes, but it's still really fun, right? I felt like F1 was going down slightly going down the tennis route, where it was just a collection of very good people who were really good. As, and now there's some of the bite back from the olden times, right? Max is here to compete. Also, not a very pleasant personality. So, yay! I'm enjoying it. I'm actually enjoying it because F1 hasn't been this bitter for a while. It was bitter in the early 2010s, like 10, 11, when Vettel was doing well. Prior to that, it was when everyone was trying to get on Schumacher's back. Before that, see, all generally decent people, generally decent people. But yes, so I am really liking the fact that Max and Hamilton are actually like now the media is pushing it right now. They have to kind of quash it. Like Max and Hamilton have to say like, please tone it down. Like we don't hate each other. It happens. It's F1. Like no, you drove over his head. I did not intentionally drive over his head. But yes, fun rivalries. Uh, but yes, favorite is of course Schumacher crushing the competition over there. Can't complain.
Krishnan, I'm going to come to you. Tennis. This is a big one. So you've been following tennis for really long. So you have watched the previous success, this previous let's say champions. That's the best way to put it. The previous champions as well, pre Federer, Nadal, Djokovic as well. So which rivalry for you stands out in tennis?
This is again an easy one for me, guys. I can't get away from Rafa and Fedor. They are two of the, they are the two people who make me sometimes wish tennis was like a Formula One structure. Because if they were on the same team, they would just be such a beautiful duo. You see it whenever they play in the Europe versus rest of the world tournaments. What is that tournament called? I'm completely blanking on it.
Davis Cup.
Davis
No,
Cup. Ryder.
Cup. No,
It's called
Ryder's
Ryder in golf. What is
It's
it called in
Ryder's
tennis? Gui, chime in, yaar, come on.
It's
What is that
Oh.
tournament called?
It's Davis Cup is all the
Nah,
countries.
nah,
This
play
is
together.
all the countries. Yeah. Anyway, I'll get back to it. I'll also look it up.
Anyway,
Yeah.
USA versus Europe or something it is.
Versus
right?
rest of world. Europe versus rest of
Oh,
world.
Europe versus rest of world. Whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
Cup.
that.
It's called the Laver Cup.
Laver Cup.
Laver
There we go.
Cup.
Laver Cup. Guys, I think we have to give up the podcast, unfortunately. No, but you see their charisma together. They are such a beautiful duo. And they're, again, like I said, in terms of playing styles, they're so opposite to the point where one is a righty, one is a lefty. One is a sleeveless shirt guy, one is a bandana, one is the most, well, I guess one guy also, both guys wear bandanas. That's the one common. One guy's all about stamina, one guy's all about style. They're such a beautiful duo to watch play together. And their rivalry, for that period of 6 or 7 years, where we were just seeing them play again and again and again, back to back in Grand Slam finals, was just epic. And then, guys, you have to go back. I think it was my roommate who showed me this video of them needing to do that YouTube video for a fundraising event and just not being able to get a single sentence out and just laughing continuously. I absolutely love watching them, whether they're playing tennis, whether they're off the court. They are two of the best ambassadors to the game of tennis. And it's wonderful when they're playing. And I know all of us, whenever we have a tournament, at the back of my minds, we're secretly hoping that one last time we get that with them. We get one last game, Rafa Nadal versus Roger Federer in a final. It's looking difficult with more and more injuries piling up kind of on both ends, especially with Roger. But I think all of us are hoping for one final hurrah between the two of them. But it's an easy one for me. I can't imagine anything ever matching this in the tennis space. It's just been amazing.
Krishnan, you've left me speechless with that, and I was truly reminiscing, and I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. What would we not do to get to watch them again and again and again? So I'm going to talk about the last sort of sport, or the last sort of sports that we generally do cover. I'm going to go to combat sports. So I'm going to talk about my favorite rivalry in the UFC and also in boxing. And then Gui, feel free to chime in as well with just a short introduction to what you may believe. So in UFC, according to me, it's got to be Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor. I don't think there has ever been a more box office sort of like joyful sort of experience pre the fight, and then to have such a fiery fight the first time and the second time, the repeat as well. And then seeing how Conor improved his game. That was peak Conor McGregor that we saw. And it's just sad to see how he's drifted away in general. But yeah, man, Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor was fun to watch, and both were superb warriors in that ring. I know Gui is a massive advocate of Nate Diaz. He absolutely loves him. So Gui,
Nate Diaz versus post-match interviews. That's one. That's my favorite rivalry right there. Like Nate Diaz and talking appropriately in post-match interviews. Favorite rivalry because I enjoy it. And also, my second most favorite UFC rivalry is John Jones versus John Jones. Oh, if only this man could get a grip of himself.
That was harsh, man. That was harsh, Gui.
No, but that's a great one, Gui. That's
a fair point.
It's factual. It's absolutely factual. And just to highlight this, we'd be going wrong if we didn't highlight this to end this. Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. My God, man. I think we need to do a podcast just for that last fight, the trilogy. Holy shit, man. Tyson Fury, you are the greatest of all time. And I'm going to say this on this public forum right here. Tyson Fury, not because you're a Mank, not because you are a Gypsy King, just because you are genuinely the greatest boxer of all time. So on that note, thanks, Gui. Thanks, Krishnan. It's been amazing. Shubham really missed this one. And to all those who tuned in, thank you so much. Let us know about your favorite rivalries in the comments. Share any thoughts that you might have, or if you disagree with any of our opinions as well. We're always open to criticism. We are quite critical of ourselves in general too. You'll see Krishnan sending me messages after this as well about what I said right or what I said wrong. But anyway, thanks once again. And we'll be back with an all new episode next week. Till then, take care, stay safe. Bye-bye.
If you like this episode, make sure to leave a like and share it with anyone else who might be interested. You can also subscribe on any social media platform that you prefer, and all our links are in the bio. We also have a website with all our episodes as well as blogs and a whole lot of other sports content, so make sure to check that out as well.